Cool. Good evening and welcome to week 5 review with Craig. How's it going?
Good evening, Johnny. How are you? I'm good, thank you.
I'm okay, thanks. Yeah, just things happened on Tuesday. I couldn't make it. I finally got our fair day project in. It's a bit of a nightmare, those things, but
Yeah, it
handed in
happens.
tomorrow. It's all done. Yeah.
Life gets in the way. Life gets in the way, but it's been a busy week in the OrkneyBowl. Life might get in our way, but it doesn't get in the way of the NFL. The NFL cracks on regardless.
Yeah, so yeah, more players going on IR and all that stuff, and people scrambling all over free agency. It's been a bit. My phone's been going a bit nuts, but yeah. So I've been requested that we start with the West Coast today. So we'll start with Happy Valley. So I'll get up. There we go. So
you'll need to bring it up. I've not got them on the phone anymore.
No worries. Who we got? Oh, there you go. Everett's here.
Everett's in
You'll
the
be
house.
happy here because you had another good one. So obviously the first game of Gothenburg Angels now 2-3, 224.94 up against the Melbourne Supremacy 201.86. The South London Rebels go 5-0 with 207.04 against the Body Red Cowboys, 150.31. Royal Raiders losing their second game in a row, 173.15 against the Bognor Regis Balkans 4-1, 249.59. The Kirkwall Cowboys 176.99, losing a close one to 182.44 Whitford Educators. The Darlow Destroyers 211.07 up against the 220.32 Yeovil Winners, we're going 3-2. Poor Allen on a 4-game losing streak. Kirkwall Raiders 211.62 coming up against Welcome Everett, 271.43. Another mammoth score by Everett. So I think we'll maybe start with that one. See if he's watching.
I mean, it's a big score for a guy who's got Devontae Adams and Mike Evans at wide receiver, and I know that's his two of his wide receivers. So
yeah, he's got 100 points between Joe Burrow and Chase. So that helps.
Well, there you go. And it's going to be a regular occurrence tonight, Johnny, whereby when we look at big scores, we're going to see either the Burrows Chase stack, or we're going to at least see one of them. I would think that the top score in every division this week will have one of those two players in it. It just will.
I know, it's just a mental score, but then that's like 2 weeks in a row. He's currently the second highest scorer in the league, and he's sitting in 7th place. But there's Joe Burrow, Kenneth Walker, Brian Robson, Jamar Chase, Keelan Coleman, Mike Evans, Ferguson, Najee Harris, for Q, and I got 11 points for Edwards and 17 for Quay Walker. So yeah,
the Coleman points all came from one catch as well. It was a 50-yard touchdown or something. They all came from one catch, So I mean, Everett's going along really well. Not missing Adams at all there. Obviously, he's got the players to the place. Not a whole lot of injury problems there. Obviously Adams will be fit as soon as he gets a trade, so no problem there. So I mean, he's going along great guns. He's got a great shout of, what's he, 4-1 now?
No, he's 2-3. He started 0-3. He's won his last 2.
Oh, he's won his last 2, right? But I mean, it's when you're scoring in the 270 odd points, it's nothing to worry about being 2-3. You're well in the hunt. And as for Allen, again, I mean, he's lost this one, the Kirkwall Raiders, but 211 points. It's nothing to lose any sleep over. You're going to win a lot more games scoring 211 points than you're going to lose.
Yeah, welcome Derek, and welcome also Martin, who's listening. He's at work, but he's going to listen to us while he's working. Yeah, like I say, Raiders had Daniels, White, Connor, Hill, Harrison didn't do much. Moore, so he had some good players. He just obviously Naylor did nothing.
Bounce had a big game, that was I mean, starting down. I mean, Cousins on the bench. That's 40 odd points on the bench, and that's going to be a regular occurrence. He's got Mostert and Wright down there, both on bye week this week. But that's a headache to have. I'm still on the Achan train. Even hopefully his concussion's just that, and he's back after the bye week, no problem. But yeah, I mean, Allen's not in a place to be worrying. He's scoring 211 points in a game. Tyreek Hill's a bit of a worry. You're kind of waiting on you're waiting on Tua coming back there, and it's one of those ones where, I mean, if you've got Hill, you've drafted him. You've had a first 5 pick, and you've drafted Tyreek Hill. And if you look at the first picks that were going, like CMC's not seen the pitch yet. Tyreek Hill's lost his quarterback, and with it, everything else that goes along with it. Chase was absent for the first couple of weeks. The early picks have not exactly been surrounding themselves.
It's crazy.
Glory, that's for
it's
sure.
Crazy how much Miami are missing. Ken, obviously, Tua are not the best, but oh boy, they're missing him. The run game misses him. The passing game misses him. You know what I mean?
It's not Tua. It's the system. They need a quarterback who can step in and play the system. I don't think Tua's that great. It's just that he plays the system very well. And the problem is that they've not got someone in who can cover that, and that's a bit silly in their part when you've got a guy who gets that many, has been concussed that many times. You would think they would have someone ready to roll up and go, but there you go, they don't.
So Gothenburg Angels, they were the last years. So they had 224 against the Melbourne Supremacy. So Gothenburg Angels are also 2-3 now.
Yeah, the Melbourne Supremacy now 3-2 after again a 200-point loss. There's you don't lose sleep over that. That's just you've lost a better score, but you're scoring fine as long as you're scoring okay.
2-game losing streak for Melbourne Supremacy as well.
Yeah, I mean that's a little bit worrying.
Losing Andrews,
start slipping
losing
in.
Jones. That'd be the big difference.
What's the script with Stefan Diggs and the stories in the story I read today about him? And
I saw something on. Yeah, I'm not sure how that one. Yeah, it's a bit weird.
What I say doesn't surprise me. I've never been a fan of Diggs at all. So there you go.
Yeah, but
I knew there was a reason, and
that was a bit. Yeah.
And they'll give me one. But yeah, I mean, so again, I mean, Diggs it's got to be a good thing for Diggs that Collins is on IR now. I mean, that's him gone, so 4 weeks minimum. So Diggs and Dell, they should be getting uptick from that. Keenan Allen worries me a whole lot. It's just he's not getting anything, even when they're doing okay.
You got 3 points from Pirine as well. It's not very good.
Yeah, I mean, Pirine was a dart throw that's just not going to work out now. It's going to be Hunt. CEH is coming back and he'll get some of it, but I just don't see Pirine getting any of it, to be honest with you. Steele will still get a little bit, but it's a backfield I wouldn't want any part of at the moment. The Chiefs backfield. If you forced me to have one, I would take Hunt. But yeah, I wouldn't want a piece of any of them. Obviously, Neighbours there was on missed the game with a concussion, so that's he'll get him back soon.
The rest were on
that was a big miss. Yeah. That was a big miss for Melbourne Supremacy, and that's the difference between winning and losing when when both are scoring over 200 points.
Yeah.
A little bit from Neighbours, and all of a sudden you're winning that game.
Well, he's still not clear from concussion protocol yet either, to be honest. But then obviously nice win for South London Rebels, going 5-0, and Cogner Regis Falcons against Aaron. So what happened to Aaron?
Against our Graham and Aaron, yeah. I mean, Deshaun Watson's a problem, and so is Breece Hall, to be honest with you. Breece Hall's in that range at the moment where, I mean, Salah going, it has to do something for him because that's 2 weeks in a row now. Breece Hall has been very, very, very slow production for, again, where you'd expecting a whole lot better.
They've gone on about Allen, but both of them have struggled the last 2 weeks the way they've been playing. Again, they both had 9 carries for like 20-odd yards.
And that's it. They're sharing the load as well. I'm expecting more out of Breece Hall in the passing game, to be honest with you. It's a passing game I'd be looking for. But I'll tell you what, the South London Rebels, this is the South London Rebels, isn't it?
No, this is the
Raiders. It's Aaron. Yeah, so
Aaron's team.
at least Drake London's got off the mark for him, because that was a bit of a worry as well. But it looks like he's going to be okay now. Kyle Pitt's got a bit of touches, but London and Pitt's in the same team. Yeah, he's what 3-2. Aaron, is he 3-2? Is he? So it's
3. It's 2-game losing streak,
no
but
time, no
he's
time to panic. But you don't want to be on. You need to get off that. You want to get off that losing train. You want to get back on the winning train.
Well, there you go. South London Rebels. They started Braylon Allen. They did have.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be one of those ones. They're going to hurt each other. I think Colin Allen. There's only so much to go around there because Rodgers likes to throw it, so there's only so much to go around. But he's got a Nico Collins problem there as well. South London Rebels. Obviously, Nico's out. But Tank Bigsby, what a big game from Tank Bigsby this week. Is he a real thing now? What does that do for Etienne?
Well, I think Etienne's still the number one, and he has injured his shoulder, so I don't know how full the recovery he's been. But yeah, Bigsby's definitely taking his chances.
So, he's definitely taking touches off him now, that's for sure. So yeah, I think it's that's an option to be plugged into the first team this week for South London Rebels.
On a bye, so he'll be back. Palmer will be back.
He's got Palmer on the Palmer will be back as well, and of course Singletary there. So plenty of options on the bench, and plenty of options on the bench, and a good win. And Graham's, he's 2 and 3. He's chucking away, but
just a bad week.
It's tight, So how's the league looking? We've got 1-5-0 South London Rebels, 5-0.
Yeah.
Tony's
and then
made his customary great start. Is everyone off the mark? Is there any zeros down the bottom? There's only 1, 2, 3, 4
are 1 and 4. 3 teams are 1 and 4.
Yeah, so 3 teams are 1 and 4. So I mean, at worst, you're 2 games behind the playoffs. So it's a long way from 1 and 4. You need to start winning games. You need to start winning games pretty soon, I would say. But if you're 5-0 right, right now, you're waiting for the playoffs. It's a case of just waiting for the playoffs, isn't it?
So this week we have Gothenburg Angels against the Bonnyrigg Cowboys. We've got the Melbourne Supremacy against Royal Raiders. South London Rebels predict to lose against Whitford Educators. Gala Destroyers against the Baldwin Regis Balkans. Well, we've got the battle of the Kirkwall Raiders against the Kirkwall Cowboys, both 1 and 4. Yeah. Then you've got the Yeovil winners up against the high-flying, bombastic Turbo Titans.
I mean, it's a big game. That Kirkwall Derby is a big, big game because you've got 2 1 and 4 teams there. The one who wins it is, got a chance to turn the season round. I would say the one who loses it, it's getting close to being. You're looking to just stay in your division at that point and avoid relegation because what you've got to remember what people have got to remember this is promotion and relegation. That's what this is all about. That's the edge of the OrkneyBowl as you call it. So even when you are 1 and 4, 0 and 5, Is
Ross on holiday? I wonder.
I don't know.
But he's not checked his team because he's got 1, 2 in a bye.
It's only Thursday.
But both his quarterbacks are on a bye.
It's only Thursday though. Some people don't check their team too closer to the weekend. But yeah, I mean it's a big game this one because, as I say, from 1 and 5, it's a long season. But you then at 1 and 5, normally you give up. That's kind of right. Okay, I'll stop following this one so much now, and I'll start following the other ones that I'm in. But you can't do that here because this is all you then want to avoid relegation. It's all about staying up at that point. So you got to keep going. You got to keep turning away, and you got to try and stay in your division. So even the ones down the bottom have got a lot to play for. But the 2 1 and 4s, that's a huge game. The winner of that can get themselves back in the hunt, and the loser of that is a long old way away.
Yeah, it will be quite hard going there. And obviously, Whitford Educators, they're playing their team at the top.
Yeah, so it's
not going to be easy for them either.
1 and 4 as well. So, Whitworth, it's those kind of games that you get, that the 1 and 4 team turns around and knocks off the 5-0, So here's hoping, you know.
Well,
Sorry, Tony, but you know, it'd be nice for as many to stay
they're
in it
both
as possible.
well, they're both picked their teams, so we'll see how we get on with that. It's going to be a close one, but you just don't know what Josh Allen you're going to get if he's got anybody to throw to.
Well,
That
I
all
mean,
depends
Josh
if he's
Allen's a
playing.
problem this year, isn't he? I think
If
this is
Shakir's
the year that
not playing, Allen's horrible. So
this seems to
yeah,
be
you
the
need
year that
Shakir.
fantasy's catching up with Josh Allen, and you know he's kind of becoming the quarterback that he really is in the NFL and fantasy as well. So it's again, all the Josh Allen owners they've drafted him early. They've drafted him early for a reason, and that reason so far is not paying off.
No, he's not been. You have they usually have one good game, one crap game, one good game, crap game. So he might have a good game this week, but yes, against the Jets, so that'll be
Yeah,
a tough one because they're
it's.
pretty good.
I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still going to be a kind of top 5 quarterback, but you know, if you've got Josh Allen, you've pretty much drafted him first. You're expecting him to be the number 1 quarterback, and he's quite clearly not going to be that this year.
No, it's either first or second round, but yeah. So we'll go on to Division 2 and the US Conference. We've got Mays Howe. So, this is why Derek's tuning in. The command. Oh, that's predicting. So, how did he get it on? Oh, no, maybe. Oh, he did get the win. Kirkcall Kings, 214.65 against the Dickens Heath Demons, 211.74. And the score corrections have happened, so that is correct score. Nothing's going to change.
It's in the
The
bank.
Belfast Burns Bombers 143.24 against the Crew Juggernauts 4-1, 207.26. The Bonnie Cheeseheads getting a nice win, 221.54 against 212.46. Got the high scoring games in these ones. Both 3-2 and 2-3. The Southampton Dockers 219.49 against the Glasgow Lightning 181.10. The Lancaster Bombers 233.51 up against the 0-5 Dobos Darla Diamonds 282.59. The Whitford Educators 144.26 against the Carolina Broncos 173.47. Well, we might as well go to Derek since he's here. It says he always tunes in for a win.
Always tunes in for a win, eh? Well, I mean, Baker Mayfield's knocked out the park for him this week, obviously. That's the standout straight away. And obviously, you know, stacked with Evans, it was it's always going to be a good week when you're getting 50 and 60 points off 2 players.
It's crazy the points that Walker got, because obviously he didn't do much on the ground, but he had catches.
Yeah, it was through the air, really, wasn't it? That Walker got his points, which is, you know, just as if it was just the ground, then he didn't really have a good game. But it goes to show you that he will be productive even when he's not having a good game, you know, per se. Swift showing up as well again this week. That's kind of 2 weeks in a row now. Swift's had big games, so I mean, I was very much off Swift this year, but you know, he seems to be turning it around. I hope that's not a procession. I hope he goes back to normal again. And of course, Rashawn Johnson sitting in there behind him, and I like Rashawn Johnson. I think I've got him in a lot of places, so I could do with Swift being.
Oh, look at that! He'll get Goff back. He'll get Gibbs back. Cup's out.
Yeah.
Schultz had a no bad game. I think Schultz will get more targets with Collins being out. And Julian up at the bottom there. And then obviously Dickens Demons. So they're still 3-2, 211 points. You've got Daniels, Robinson, Tracy Ehrman in. So I wonder if he's got Taylor. Deontay Johnson will get better games than that. Kirk had a not bad game for a change. Shaheed. Well, you're going to play Shaheed now that Carr's out?
Yeah, you can't. I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't be.
Not the first game, anyway.
Maybe roll the dice. I'd maybe roll the dice with Olave, but I wouldn't be playing Shaheed. I'm not. I won't be playing Shaheed. I've got him. I won't be playing him.
And a good game by Tracy, but obviously don't know if Stingley's back, but he will get touches. Brian Robinson will have better games than that. Shahir, David.
I mean, you're scoring 211 points and you're 3-2. You don't worry about losing games like that. You know, it's a great win for Derek. And you know, when you're sitting at 2-2, the difference between 3-2 and 2-3 mentally is huge. You know, the difference between them being on a winning record and a losing record is absolutely massive. So getting yourself to that 3-2, it's a great win, and doing so with Cup out, with Gibbs out, with Goff out, all of them still to come back.
Well, and Dickinson had no Taylor, no Neighbours, no Adams, no Ingram. Yeah, Andrews managed to get 15 points.
The no Taylor thing he plugged in with Sermon well enough, so that was fine.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like
You've
Neighbours. I don't know if Neighbours will be back this week, but
if you've got JT, it's just as well you've having Sermon on the bench. I walked into that one a couple of times this week, and had Sermon.
We always knew you'd come back, Everett. You weren't going to say 0-3 for long. I'd like win this. So the Bonnie Keys has another close one and high scoring, 221 against 212. The Portland Lumberjacks. The Bonnie Keys has got to 3-2. The Lumberjacks got to 2-3. So Borough with 51 points.
Again, the 3 2s and the 2 3s is the difference. Mentally, the difference is massive to me. So that again, it's a great win for the Bonnyrigg Cheeseheads just to go 3-2 instead of 2-3, and 2-3 is well and truly in it. You're not, it's no problem being 2-3 at this point in the season, especially if you're scoring points. But just to have that wee edge of the 3-2 makes such a difference to me.
Well, losing A-Chain probably didn't help, because that probably would have been the swing of the tie. Because you had 33, 35, 40 for London. Love didn't do the best game, but still enough. Reed.
Yeah, I mean, A-Chain's where it's fell down here. Even if he just stayed on the pitch, he would have got enough touches to get over the line in this game. So it's that. But when you have a player that goes down, I mean, if he started right, that might have been enough. But you're never going to do that. If he started Akers, that would have been enough. But you're never going to do that over A-Chain. So you just got to live with it when it's.
I am looking forward to that matchup, Everett, because Lattimore does really get an Evans thing. He usually gets ejected, or
I think that's going to be a good
punch up.
I think it's going to be a bit of a busted game a little bit with Rattler in. As you say, the Saints will just try and play defence and run the ball to death. The one player I want from that game is Kamara this week. I think Kamara's going to see a lot of the football. What he does with it's a different matter, but I think he's going to see a lot of the football this week.
Yeah, I think Godwin could have a good game too. But yeah.
There's only one O in this league then. We've got Dobbo's, Dallows, Diamonds, the only O.
Yeah.
And there's no one on a 5-0. So everyone's lost in this division now, Division 2, and everybody's lost. And only one team hasn't managed to get a win yet.
The still got 182 points, so which is still a good point. It's just unfortunately everybody's scoring 200.
The points are fine. You just need to run into the right team the right week, don't you? And it's sometimes you just don't do that.
There's 4 teams last week that scored less than them. So if they'd been playing any of those 4 teams, it would have been 1-4. But now it's still looking not bad. The table is we've got 1-4-1, and we've got a lot of
just the 1-4-1. Two juggernauts are going very well there, and there's all the way down to 7th is on winning records now. So there's 7 winning records, 5 losing records in this division. So all very, very tight. How many are on 1 win? Just not many by the looks of it. None. So no one's on 1 win. So Dobbos are falling away at the bottom there. They need to start winning now. This is the week. If they don't get the win this week, they could potentially be 4 wins behind the playoffs, and that's a long way back. There's no coming back from that, in my opinion.
It's going to be a tough. Well, then the thing is, you got to think about is the playoffs after that, because if you win even the consolation, the top 2 in the consolation stay in the division. So
that's
building for that. So they'll still got something to play for. Oh, nice!
Yeah, you're playing to stay up.
You got the Kilmarnock Kings against the Crew Juggernauts. That'll be a cracking game. Then you've also got the Dickinson Stevens against the Cheeseheads. So they've got the
Kilmarnock Kings are on
2-game
They're on a winning streak as well, aren't they, the Kings? So that's a big game for them to come into. If they can knock the Crew Juggernauts off and get everyone on 2 losses in this division, it will really open the thing up completely. And of course, there'll be a lot of 3-2 v2 and 3s this week, because it's just the nature of the division with the amount of teams that are 3-2 and 2 and 3.
Well, you've got 1v5, then you've got 2-3 against 4, and then you've got 2 against 6.
Big
So
week for
this is a good one
needs
for
a win against
the Southampton Dockers, who are on a 2-game win streak. They could really jump over a few if they can manage to get the win against the Witches Warriors. But then they could also pull them back into the 3 and 3s. So Derek's saying, bring on the juggernauts.
Bring on the juggernauts indeed. Well, it's certainly a big weekend. And say Dobos need to get off the mark this week. Portland Lumberjacks, they're up against up and down team this year, 2 and 3 at the moment. So definitely a chance.
Oh, Derek's picked up Darius Layton, which has got a good pickup if Neighbours doesn't play.
Yeah, the bye weeks are massive now, Everett. I totally agree. It's they make such a difference, and you'll see teams that obviously don't look at bye weeks when they're drafting. Me being one of them, I don't pay much attention to draft weeks, and then you'll see the teams that do pay attention to draft bye weeks, because you'll find that there's some teams that have got maybe one player on bye tops every week, and then you've got other teams that have got about 6 players on bye because they'll just not pay any attention to it whatsoever. So it will be interesting to see how it plays out. And of course, sometimes you just think, right, I'm going to have to just write that week off because I've got too many players on bye week. I can see it already. I'll just write that week off and move on.
Did you not do that with your kicker? Oh, that was
no, I didn't. I brought one in the end. I brought one in the end and lost anyway, and lost my players because 2 assholes picked them up and spent a lot of money on them.
Yes, that sounds about right. So we'll move on to Division 3, the Marwick Head Division. This is one we skirted over last week, if I remember rightly. So we had a bit of a, we go week 5. The Peterhead Bloody Jets getting their first win of the season with 233.48 up against the Nottingham Rebels, 153. London Eagles, their 3rd win in a row, 181.01 up against the Gorgie Vikings, 141.4964. Guildford Raptors now 2 and 3, 243.40 against the now 3 and 2, 167.19 Wakefield 49ers. The Darlington Dragons, 193.65, now go 2 and 3 against the Sandbag Satans, 191.71. So that was a close one. They are now 3 and 2. The Norwich Mustard Men, who are the top of the division, are now 235.59 against the normally highest, well, still high scoring, but normally the highest scoring Chester Hurricanes, 206.32. So they go 3 and 2. Pork's 100 Cavic Porkers 176.78 against the highest scorer in the division. The Birmingham Master Chiefs, UNC, 266.39. So he's now going 4 and 1 as well. A mouthful, that one.
Yeah, so there's again 4 and 1's leading, so everyone's lost in this division. Is there any O's at the bottom?
No, Groty's at the bottom of 1 and 4. So
yep. So I mean that the thing about this division, it's so tight that bottom's only 3 wins off top. So
yeah,
everything to play for over here. You're only 2 wins off playoffs if you're at the bottom, 1 and 4. So the 1 and 4s are got plenty to play for. Great win for Mark to get off the mark last week, and a good score as well with 235 points. So it shows that. And
I know if they were on 2 wins, they'd be sitting in 7th with the scoring because they're 877 points.
We're looking through these, and what we are noticing is there's not a lot of O's. We're only in week 5. It just goes to show how volatile fantasy football is, and that not many people are 5 and 0, not many people are 0 and 5. Players are scoring. All players are scoring at certain times, so it's just a case of falling into the right games in the right week. Sometimes I feel it's just so close. Everything is so tight.
Yeah, he did have Burrow come on up, and then he had Ayuk finally turning up. He must have picked up Tolbert. He played Tolbert. That was a good one. 25 points. Udunzi got 11. George Kittle, who's 34.6.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Tolbert's becoming kind of very playable now that Cooks is out. Obviously, Lamb's going to be the main man most of the time, but they're no, he's going to go elsewhere as well.
Lamb's been a bit funny this year, though. You know what I mean? Lamb's
he has been. It's the sit out thing, the same way Ayuk, you know, that okay, that's Ayuk bounce back. He's had what a 147-yard game.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do when you're the 10, you know, when you're in the top 10 kind of paid wide receivers in the game. You're supposed to be doing that every single week. So we'll see how he
Well, it's
goes on now.
preseason.
If that's his kind of coming out party and he's going to kick on now, you'd like to think so. But I mean, that Niners team just looks disjointed at the moment. It really does.
I know. It's amazing how they miss McCaffrey and his
It's,
tendons.
well, all missing him massively. But you know, even without McCaffrey, you would have thought that they would be good enough. Mason's plugging away at running back fine. That's not
Yes,
the
but
problem, you know.
the
Purdy's
thing is,
balling out. That's not.
McCaffrey does everything. You mean it's the catching as well as the running, and
He does,
Mason's more of a
and
runner than a catcher. So
it goes to show you how much that teams miss a player like that, you know. So, but yeah, I mean, I hope that could be his coming out party. Obviously, we'll find out tonight when they
I
play
think
Seattle.
Debo's going to have a good game tonight. He does look playing against the Seahawks. So, but then the Seahawks should run the ball like to death tonight. But whether they do or not is a
I would
different
think
matter.
so. Yeah, I mean,
When you've got Walker and
Walker.
Charbonnet, they both should be running like hell, just running through them, pummel them. But
And then
they'll probably
you've
try and
got
air the ball out. And the 49ers defense, when it
where
comes to passing, is pretty bloody good.
where are you sitting with Marvin Harrison at the moment? I mean, he's had a couple of decent weeks, but he's, you know, it's rookie wide receiver, and he's showing his rookiness. You know, he was drafted in the first round, second round at the latest. I mean, you're expecting a lot from him, and he's not delivering. Is he going to get much better as the season goes on? Is it going to be kind of, is he one that's going to turn up come playoff time and maybe win people championships? That's what I'm looking. That's what I'd be looking for if I owned him.
Thing is, again, he's had a couple of good games now. He's done much the last couple, but he only got 7 targets, and basically it was 7 targets. Well, he missed against the 49ers. He got 2 catches, but 7 targets for 36 yards. So again, the 49ers are good against the pass for this, unless it's a deep pass. So they're not. Murray's too busy running for his life, I think, in that one probably. But they did enough. I don't know who got all the points in that one then.
7 targets is quite a lot. Murray ran a big one in. Murray got a lot of the points. He ran a big one.
Oh, he ran that big, massive touchdown to start with.
Connor
He
got
got
his points as well.
Connor had 19 carries for 86.
Yeah, see, I mean, again, a lot of it came from defense.
Oh, McBride turned up for the game.
Points.
Yeah,
but it's yeah. I mean, but for me, I mean, he's going to have some big weeks. But if I'm owning Harrison at the moment, I'm looking at him and saying, "You're my man for the playoffs. I just got to get there first."
Yeah. Well, it's just like where are we at? I forgot where we are.
This next week's games. So I see that we've got a show me the money.
The battle of the 1 and 4s
right at the top there. The 2 1 and 4s, Peterhead Bloody Jets and Gorgie Vikings. The two from the home league. So it'll be interesting. And again, it's 2 1 and 4s, so that's a massive game because the one who wins it, especially if Mark can win this game, and that's him on a 2-game winning streak, you know, and winning becomes contagious. It really does. So it could get himself right back in it, and if you know the loser of that game sitting at 1 and 5, long way from 1 and 5, especially when there will be at least one.
Grote's quite good at throwing the toys at the pram, so that could easily happen with that one. He nearly did it and showing the money. Then you got the Nottingham Rebels 2 against the Guildford Raptors. You got London Eagles who are on a 3-game win streak up against the Sandbach Satans, who lost last week for the first time. Norwich must have been 4-1 against the Wakefield 49ers, so that'll be a good one. 3-2. Catwell battle the 2 and 3s. Cavite Porkers against the Darlington Dragons, and the Chester Hurricanes, who've had 2 high scores of the week, but they're now sitting at 3-2 up against the 4-1 Birmingham Master Chiefs, who were last week's highest scorer. So that should be a good game too, even with the bye week. So
big games for Sandbach Satans and Chester Hurricanes as well. You know, at 3-2, 3-2, you're fine. And if you lose the game, you go 3-3. You know, you're only 3-3. That's fine. You know, 6 weeks in, nearly halfway through the season, and you're 50%. Happy days. But you're playing against the 4-1 teams. You know, the two 4-1 teams, and
You don't want them getting
you
away.
lose this one, and all of a sudden you're 3-3, but they're 5-1.
Yeah.
You know, it's a big swing that. Whereas, you know, you win it, you're 4-2, they're 4-2. It's a 2-game swing, so big games for those two teams as well this week.
Definitely. So we'll go on to Dwarfy Stain, which had the highest scoring team of the week. This one, we're at week 5. The Bluetoon Texans, they did have a score correction and lost 2 points, but they got 283.28 for Amos against 169.26 Cork Red Army. The Q Kings 2-3, 173.48 against the Bangham Sharks. Johnny Boy 193.79, also 2-3. The Fuelwood Patriots 2-3, 181.89 against 182.49. So that was a close one against the Lagers Lemons, who are now 4-1. The Gloucester Woolpack 3-2, 156.60 against 134.01 Plymouth Assassins. The Birmingham Bears 214.84, now 4-1 against the Rhino Cardinals 196.90. The Manchester Spinners 195.21 against the Knockouts 219.69. So there's no unbeaten teams and there's no winless teams. We've got to look at the Bluetoon Texans. That's
big one.
283.2. Massive.
I'm guessing Burrow and Chase will be front and centre here.
He had 3 points for Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
You had Brian Thomas, Brock Bivers, DeAndre Swift.
Bivers, Swift, and Jigba done okay. Yeah, I mean, Judy aside, he's had a big week. He's played his best team by a country mile, and they've kind of, you know, they're all showing up. So great win for Michael, and that puts him 2-3 now. It gets him right back in the hunt.
Definitely, and it was a nice win for Sean as well. 193.79, 173.48.
Yeah, again, you know, when you're sitting at 1-3, you need that one. You need to get yourself going, and it's a tight one, but he's got himself over the line. You know, 193 points. He's losing a lot of games this week, but it's won him this one. He's, you know, got to be looking at Holland, thinking better things. Are you ready to give up on Mahomes for fantasy yet? I'm about the stage where I'm.
Well, it depends who else he's got. You know? Who's he got? Well, he had Cousins. I'd probably play Cousins now ahead of Mahomes at the moment, especially with Rice.
I'd be playing Cousins ahead of Mahomes right now. Now I would be. Last week I wouldn't have been, but now I would be. Now that Cousins is kind of showing that he showed up for the season and that he's finally turned up in Atlanta. 5 weeks late, but he's there now. Like Q Kings, good start with. I mean, it's a big risk running your running back room with Hunt and Sermon. You never know what you're going to get from them, but it's worked out. It worked out this week for him. It's just, you know, it wasn't enough to win the game, but he got the points off them at least. I'm guessing that there's some injuries down on the bench there of Q Kings.
He's got one there in because he's lost Pittman. So, Miles Garrett did he even play? I'm guessing not with no points.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if he played or not, to be honest with you. I wasn't paying much
Joe
attention
Mixon
to the Browns game.
Well,
yeah, Mixon was out.
Bye. Taylor was out.
There you go. You see, and I knew he was going to have running back issues on the bench there. Just by, you know, when you're running with Sermon and Hunt, you've got others down there that something's happened to them. You know, you didn't draft Hunt and Sermon to play. That's for sure.
No. Oops. But then obviously a nice one for the new boys. The Birmingham Bears and Knockouts are both 4-1. So they're sitting at 1-2 at the moment. Lagerville Lemon. Yeah, that was the one. Did we not have to usher him on to pick his team? Because he had 1 week where he had like McCaffrey still on his team. He's now on a 3-game win streak since he started looking at his team. So well done, Brian.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that was a bloody close one as well, though.
Guns, you know?
So that was
very, very tight game. Let's have a look. Who's Fullwood got on their bench? They started Demarcus Robinson, so I better not see a wide receiver on the bench here.
Oh, he lost Collins after that. They really won the game easy. Collins just knocked on his hammy. He had great. But then
he did, yeah.
Lagersville again talking about Adeben Ingram playing, but he was out. Obviously, Dortz had 1 point. That was evened out. You had McLaughlin on the bench, Bateman on the. I wouldn't. Oh, Tolbert.
Tolbert.
Yeah.
I would have ran with Tolbert as well. I would have played Tolbert for sure with Cook's been out.
Dortz,
I think it's
Crosby
there's some meat on the Tolbert bone now, I would say, for a little while. So yeah, it was a game that Fullwood Patriots could easily have had in the bag if they'd picked it. And it just, it goes to show, make sure that you have a look at your team. Look at your team on a Sunday. Make sure you're happy with the guys that you're playing. Because sometimes there's just a matchup for a guy who's normally on your bench and you normally leave on your bench, and you've got someone like, I don't know, Kelsey playing, and you've got Komet on your bench. But Komet's got a cracking game and Kelsey's not been doing too much, have the balls to put them in, because they can make and break games, and there you go. You see, Fullwood Patriots would have won that game if they just had a little bit of stones and put in Tolbert this week. They would have been sitting 3-2 instead of 2-3. So there you go.
Yeah, I know they'd be like, so they would be 3-2 as well. So they'd be tied up with Lagers or Lemons as well.
There you go.
So yeah, the table is a bit crazy. This one, you've got 3 4-1s, 2 3-2s, and then it's 2 and 3s, and 2 1-4s.
And then
so 2 and 3 is sitting in. So the Blue Toon Texans, after the win there, that's a 2-game win streak.
Brought them into the playoff.
Jumped up 3 spots thanks to that win.
And it's a losing record is sitting in the playoff spot. So it's wide open again. The Plymouth Assassins and Cork Red Army, they might be 1-4, but a couple of and a couple of wins in a row, and we could be talking about them as playoff. We'll be talking about them as playoff contenders in 2 weeks' time. So
I know, it's
plenty
crazy
to play for.
Let's see who they're playing this week then. Oh, we've got another show in the Monday Derby. The Blue Toon Texans against the Bagham Sharks. Both 2 and 3, so that'll be a good one.
So big game.
You've got the Cork Red Army playing the Fullwood Patriots. You've got the Q Kings up against the Plymouth Assassins. Oh, we've got a battle of the 4-1s, the Birmingham Bears against the Lagersville Lemons. Let's hope that Brian puts something at tight end this week then, because he's going to need them. Then you've got the Manchester Spinners 2 and 3 against the Gloucester Wolfpack 3 and 2, and the Rhino Cardinals 3 and 2 up against the Not Cold Knockouts 4-1. So I know that's a good game there, but I am looking forward to the top ones. I am looking forward to the Blue Toon Patriots against the Bagham Sharks.
The Lagersville Lemons and the Birmingham Bears, that's the game of the weekend. That's the big one in this one. 2 4-1 teams. The winner of this game is putting himself right in. It's time to start thinking about playoffs and what I'm going to do for them type thing. So massive game at this time of the season, just to get yourself into that position where, barring an absolute disaster, you're going to make the playoffs. It's a nice place to be in at this stage of the season, and if you can get to there kind of week 6, week 7, week 8, you're sitting 6-2, 7-1. You're starting to think about the playoff weeks, and you can start looking at your team and preparing for the playoff weeks. Whereas when you're sitting 5-3, 4-4 after 8 weeks, you're in a battle. You've got to play week to week to week to week. So these things can make big differences, and it can be the difference between winning a league and not winning a league, because it can give you the freedom to go and maybe bring someone in that you wouldn't be bringing in for this week, but you're bringing in for week 14, for week 15, because they're playing the Carolina Panthers, so I'm going to go and pick them up now. Gives you the freedom to do that when you're away out. So, you don't win. You can't win a league at this stage. You can't lose a league at this stage, but you can certainly put yourself in good and bad positions.
I am also looking forward to the Blue Toon Texans and the Bagham Sharks, just for the old Show Me the Money Derby.
Yeah, it's a Show Me the Money Derby, always a good one, and it's a big game for both of them at 2 and 3. The winners putting themselves on the march, and the losers kind of back to the drawing board at 2 and 4. Not out of it, far from it, but a lot of work to do. So the 2 and 3 teams playing against each other is a big game. They're all big
Look at that.
games.
The Bluetooth Texans
Every
are the
week's a
highest
big
scoring
game.
team, thanks to that. But up until last week, they were the highest scores against as well. But obviously, Manchester Spinners have topped them off with that one night. But they're scoring 1,100 points in the first.
Yeah, it's a lot of points to be
pretty
scored
good.
2 and 3, so nothing to worry about for Michael.
So we'll go on to the East Conference, the St Magnus division.
We're over it now, so this is us back to Division 1 and the top guys.
Yeah. So we've got the Glasgow Eagles now 4-1. They've got 266.11 against the EK Colts 195.30. They're now 2 and 3. Leicester Tigers 0-5, 147.89 against Alaskan Deep Freeze 186.58. They're now 3 and 2. The Whitford Rockstars, Jack got 3 and 2, 208.93 against the Leeds Lassos, who were 4-0 but now 4-1, 150.8. The Roaring Warriors 1-4, 201.35 against the Seattle Patriots, 213.31. Manchester Bees now 3 and 2, 216.92 against the Yancourt Citizens, 2 and 3, 179.79. Then you've got the defending champion going on their second win in a row, I think. Is it 250.57 against the 204.19? Who remember, I think they wanted them to win because they now lost the first game as well. So there's no team unbeaten, but we do have one team winless. So it's a nice win for the defending champs.
There's only been one 5-0 team so far, Johnny. One 5-0 team in all of these divisions that we've looked at so far. So it just goes to show how competitive it is. And then nice to see, you know, the everyone tasting, most people tasting defeat, you know, this early in the season. It gets all the monkeys off the backs as well. You know, you go 5-0, you go 6-0, you go 7-0, you start thinking about the perfect season. You just don't need that shit. Do you know what I mean? You just don't.
Yeah.
So
we'll have a look at the defending champs. Obviously, you had Lamar Jackson and Derek Henry. There's loads of points on that one. Tyreek Hill got 15.
Yeah,
obviously, losing Pittman's got the sore one. DJ Moore, Ramondre Stevenson, the backup, did pretty well. Jacoby Myers.
I've missed this about Pittman. Is Pittman out?
Yeah, he's going to be out for a couple of weeks. He's done his back in. So I think it's maybe 2 to 3
that's
weeks.
why people are getting a wee bit excited about Downs. I couldn't understand all the excitement about Josh Downs, man. But
well, even before Pittman was out, Downs was getting a lot of targets, but there's a lot of people now grabbing Alec Pierce now that Pittman's out.
Richardson's going to be the quarterback this week, though.
No,
big difference. Maybe. But yeah, great win. Yeah. Great win here for the defending champions, and you know, 2 in a row now, 2 and 3. The defense is officially the defense is officially begun.
Yeah,
and we're scoring that amount of points. So, you know, it's going to take good teams to knock them off as the season goes on. You know, and of course their Carlton crew 204 points and losing. You know, what did you say? Shit happens. You're 4-1. You're scoring over 200 points in the only game you lost. Nothing to worry about whatsoever.
And there was the previously unbeaten team, Leeds Lassos, losing to Jack the Whitford Rockstars.
Yeah, they got a whipping this week though, the Leeds Lassos. So what happened here? They all went peaked on for 150 points.
Lost A-Chain, Harrison did nothing, Hall did nothing, Samuel did nothing, Thomas scored, Primus did not mad. Chuba Hubbard scored most of his points. McPherson did nothing. Obviously, he's missing Richards, so he had to play Watson
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for Richardson's going to score okay in fantasy, but just because his legs and stuff, you know, he's going to score okay. It doesn't mean he's going to be a good quarterback. But that's harsh to have Hall, Harrison, and A-Chain in your team and not one of them to score 10 points is
bad.
Not what you're expecting from those guys. So
I think Hall did get 10 points. There you go.
Well, just 10 exactly. So so you get 20 points between the three of them. That is not what you're looking for your first 3 draft picks. But you know they've been so obviously scoring fine because he's sitting at 4-1, and you kind of write this week off and move on. When you've got 4 wins in the bag, you can afford to have a bad week. That's the other thing about it as well. It's not just about scoring the points. I mean, he scored crap points there. It's been a crap week, but you just write it off a crap week and move on.
Definitely. So the Glasgow Eagles are sitting atop with the highest scoring team. Obviously, Danny has scored nice scoring points. I think they're the second highest scoring team in the division. So sitting at 2 and 3, but at least your team's scoring, so that's always good. Sitting in 70 at 2 points. Seattle Patriots went up 3 spots with their win. And the biggest follower was the Ancoats Citizens, who they fell down 4 spots to 9th. So
when you're scoring points, the wins will follow. It's when you're not scoring points that's even if I'm winning games, but I know that I'm not scoring very well, and I'm sitting in second place at 4-1, but I'm like the 8th out of 12 top scorer. I'm still worried about that season. I'm still not comfortable there. It's still a long way. A long way to go.
So week 6, we've got the Glasgow Eagles up against the Alaskan Deep Freeze. So 4-1 against 3 and 2. EK Colts against the Whitford Rockscars, so 2 and 3 against 3 and 2. Leicester Tigers 0 and 5 going up against the Seattle Patriots, who are 2 and 3, who are obviously flying high a bit. Manchester Bees 3 and 2 up against the 4-1 Leeds Lasso, so hopefully so it could be that could be a good game, that one. You've got the Dublin Everton Blues, who are flying a bit up against the Waterrock Warriors 1 and 4. Then you've got the Ancoats Citizens hoping to bounce back and jump up again after playing the Carlton Crew. So
Carlton Crew are looking to bounce back as well after their first loss of the season, but Leeds Lassos as well looking to bounce back from that first loss. But I mean, the big one is Leicester Tigers. They need to get off the mark now at 0-5. They're start, at 0-5, you're starting to lose touch, with the playoff spots. And I would say it's a massive week for Leicester Tigers to get off the mark and just get their season going.
Well, he'd be hoping Taylor's back, but then he's got Goodson. He didn't manage to get Sermon, so he's got Goodson.
Yeah, that's no good. You don't want Goodson. Even with no JT, Goodson's no good. So I can see him that experiment didn't work.
No.
At least he's coming running up against Bigsby and Etienne.
Yeah, that's
they're in London too for Seattle Patriots game, aren't they? The Jaguars are in London this week, so he's got a big interest at 2:30 on Sunday afternoon. That's for sure.
Well, I'm probably more like 8 o'clock in the morning for him, if not 6 in the morning.
Of course, yes, Seattle. Of course, yeah, of course.
And
so it'll be stupid hour in the morning. And I like the fact that he's got them both in the running back slot. That tells me that Seattle Patriots have already done their team for this week, because they've got their early games in the running back slots, not the flex spots. Now, always leave your later players in the flex spots and your early players in the lock spots, because it gives you more freedom to move them about if needs be, if someone picks up a late
when it comes to this, though, you're not going to drop Barkley. You're not going to drop Montgomery. So,
no, but Barkley could pull his hammy in the warm up.
Yeah. But then so could they, and
still
it's
give yourself.
So could they, and it's like 6 in the morning.
Johnny.
So
still give yourself the option.
Yeah, well, that's true, but I don't know. I think his team basically picks itself anyway. But yeah, I think the Alaskan Deep Freeze against Glasgow Eagles would be a good one as well.
Yeah, it's a big game for Alaska Deep Freeze in the sense that 3 and 2, if you're playing a 2 and 3 or a 1 and 4, you think, I can afford to lose this one. But when you're playing a 4 and 1, it's the difference between being the same as them and being 2 behind. So it becomes a big game at that point, just because you're playing a 4 and 1 team and it's one that you'd like to knock off.
Plus, you've got the champions breathing down your neck, 1 spot behind you, but scoring quite a lot more than you. So it's a bit of a look back in your shoulders.
Yeah, what good games, Warriors could do with the win and just slowing them down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, because Whatnot, they were a good scoring team last year, but just not seem to be hitting the mark so far. But
Well, they all would have been,
it's not,
Johnny. It's
so.
Division 1, so they all done well in this division last year.
I don't really want to go to the next division, but I suppose I better do. Here's the years to be division.
I take it we're seeing a loss then.
I got absolutely spanked by the highest score. The second week in a row, I got the highest scoring team of the week. So yeah, Orkney Orc is 161.59 against 247.51 Harrow Harlequins. The Warner Bay Goonies 216 against the Yorkshire Finns 191.17. Solihull Sharks 0-5 188.57 against the Whitehall White Tigers 199.58. The Godalming Goats 209.80 against the 205.24. The Buccaneers, that's crazy. That's 1-4 and 4-1. There's only 4 points between them. Glossop Fighting Gophers 274.68 against the Stockholm Bengals 241.49. Sean loses unbeaten record 200 points to 210. The Backfoot Panthers, so Fraser beats them. That's a nice one. But yeah.
Great win for Fraser again. He really likes his team and 200 pointers. You know, it puts him 3-2 now, and his team is solid. There's no getting away from it, you know, and it's unfortunate for Sean to lose, scoring over 200 points. But again, you're 4-1 and you're scoring over 200 points and losing, so you don't lose any sleep over that. His players are all playing. Yeah, he's lost Pittman, but Shahid's obviously a bit dodgy now. I'd be looking to see what I've got in my bench to maybe replace him. But yeah, I mean, tight game. Who are on the benches? Did Sean do anything stupid?
Please tell me Sean done anything stupid. He's got Austin Eckler.
Yeah, Eckler.
He's got Dowdle.
He's lost Mixon as well.
He's got McLeod, and he's got
Dowdle down there on the bench as well. So I mean, he's got plenty of options. Sean has plenty of options there, you know.
His bench is better than my first team.
And yeah, I mean, great win for Fraser, 3-2, and you know, his team is solid. I don't think he's got any, you know, Ayuk turning up just putting over the top, but I don't think he's got many injury issues per se. You know, that's Higgins turning up now. See, his players are starting to come onto their game as opposed to started well and slowing down a little bit. You know, he's got Johnson on the bench. He's got Montgomery still to come back. He's got Ridley to come back off bye week. So plenty of options there for Fraser as well. Yeah, two teams that should be in the playoff discussions, I would say, at the end of the season. And going very well. Again, 4-1's the leader, and everyone's tasted defeat here. Talk us through yours, Johnny. What happened to you, other than running into the big scorers? But your score's not the best, so what went wrong?
Well, just shite. I think Sutton did nothing again. Ali, tight end. I had Conklin on the bench, but I didn't play him. But Hunt scored, Stewart scored, but then my defence was pretty awful too, to be honest. McPherson
defence
did nothing. But yeah, obviously I picked up
defence does make a difference between, you know, the kind of 160 points and 180 points. It's that can all come from defence, you know, and when you see the 150, the 160 point scores, you know the defenders haven't done that well, and that tells its own story, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, he picked his best team he could at, so 200. Rodder did, but he had Charbonnet, but obviously got James Cook, Darnell Mooney. Yeah, I was 35 points down in the first day with Darnell Mooney scoring 35 points in the Thursday night. I knew it was a bit goose then.
Mooney's going to be big for Mooney owners because he was drafted very, 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 very late, and he's sneaky going to get a lot of points this year, I think. Thomas as well there in his team. He's only going to get
getting 34 points as well. So it's just like, and his defence scored nearly 50 points in his defence. So, but your Hearts and missing Taylor as well. So
missing Taylor, missing Hearts. So options that are missing McConaughey. So Andy, so plenty of options to come back for Harlow Harlequins as well. You know, and at 2 and 3. Right. Oh no, sorry, they're at 3 and 2 now. Is that 2 and 3 you are?
I'm 2 and 3, so yeah.
Yeah, you're 2
I'm not been a high scoring team this year, but it doesn't help when you've got Cup and McCaffrey on the IR.
Solihull Sharks, they're losing another close one and going 0-5 now. the only 0-5 team. They really need to be getting off the mark pretty soon, I would say, this week, or it's a long way back.
I know they still scored 966 points, so that's the thing. And we're just coming up against 1,100
Yeah,
points.
just coming up
So,
against better.
but yeah, no, yeah,
That's the
they're
thing,
close
and
there.
that's the thing. You just
Kadam and
sometimes
goals.
you do. You just come up against better, Johnny. And you get beat. It's as simple as that.
I do feel a bit sorry for the Buccaneers, though, Ken. They got 205 points, try to get the second win against one of the teams at the top, and they come up against 200. They got beat by 4 points. And then
Yeah,
obviously, Kadam goals did lose A-Chain, and now they've lost.
they did,
They
and
lost A-Chain and Collins in the same
Collins.
week. Oof.
It's
Just like
Lamb in
capital.
London. I mean, it's the other options there are very good. Wicks just had one of those off, but Wicks is going to have some big weeks as well. And he gets 7 targets. He just only caught 2 of them. So, Wicks will have his big weeks as well. I'm not so sure Keenan
Chase
Allen
Brown could,
will, though. I think he's a busted flush, I would say. But other
Brown
options
could be
there
the
on the
starter
bench,
this week as
with
well.
Brown and Whittington.
Well, yeah,
So, yeah,
Brown could be the
Godalming
starter
goals,
this
nothing
week.
to worry about.
Whittington's on a bye. Shakir might be back. Joku might be out again. Andrews.
Andrews, the fabled Mark Andrews.
I know.
The
But
fabled
he's
Mark
scored
Andrews.
points, so there you go. So Newcastle coach still hold on to 4-1. So still hold on to the top. Due to their monster scoring points. Then you got one of the
Yeah, one or
Goonies,
big
you could have
Goonies there as well.
answers. So up to 6 spot, we've got 1 and 3 and 2. Then it's like lots of 2 and 3s, a 1 and 4, and a 1 and 5.
Yeah, six,
But yeah,
6 winning, 6 losing. But yeah, as I say, the Solihull Sharks, they really need to get a win this week. But outside of that, everything's close, very close here as well. And this, of course, the Division 2 is such a big division because it's your entryway into the top division. You can play for the OrkneyBowl next year if you can get your promotion. So huge division. And
yeah. So well, I've got the pleasure of playing the Godalming Gophers this week. So they're both 2 and 3s, but I think their team does look stronger than mine at the moment. They've got the Warners Bay Goonies against the White Tigers, 4-1 against 2 and 3. They've got Yorkshire Finns 2 and 3 against the Godalming Colts, 4-1. The Solihull Sharks 0 and 5 against the Stockholm Bengals, 3 and 2. Well, we've got the Newcastle Colts against the Newcastle Buccaneers, 4-1 against 1 and 4. Then you've got the Backfoot Panthers against the Harrow Harlequins. That'll be a nice high scoring game after the scores last week.
that's a
So
huge game.
that's
That's a huge game at the bottom there. Bankfoot Panthers and Harlow Harlequins, 3 and 2 and 3 and 2.
yeah.
You say the winner of that game, with their scoring, with what they've been scoring and how they've been going, it might only be 4-2, but it's a very, very confident 4-2, Whereas the loser of that game is looking at their team going, how the hell is this only 3-3? So, but
Yeah.
it's a big game because you can overthink things when you start looking at your team and you think, shit, I'm 3-3 and look at this team, it's brilliant, or they can't be playing well, and you start trying to do too many smart things. You try to be a smart wee cookie and I'll take him out or I'll put him in or I'm going to just drop him because he's not been playing well. And stick with your big guns, stick with your big players, but have the balls to throw a dart every now and then, but in the main, stick to your big players. If they're not performing, as long as they're playing, they're going to start to, they have to. There's a reason you drafted them.
Yeah, mine was to go in IR.
Well,
So
that's when you have to start playing, but
we'll go on to Queen Hill, your division. I know you had a good score this week. So
yeah, I had a decent week.
So you got the Hot Shot Hot Dogs, 1 and 4. Well, that's next week. Week 5. The Hot Shot 187.75 against the New Bardstown Masters, 236.21, 3 and 2. The 2 and 3 Preston Panthers, 238.05 against the previously undefeated Leeds Lepers, 153.39. The Edinburgh Packers, I wonder who that is, now 2 and 3, 263.10 against the Portsmouth Pirates, 178.84. Lee Vikings, 170.93 against the Chicago Scorpions, 232.13. Doug creeping into the 200s, 202.21 against the Darlington Rams, who were also unbeaten, 168.49. You wanted that one. But the only unbeaten team left is Glenrothes Nasgos, 106.34 against the 0-5, their Knights 175.99. So it's
So
pretty close
1-5
considering it's
and
5
0,
and 1.
1-5 and 0, 1-0-5 we have in this division. And I mean, Martin's flying, absolutely flying along. He's scoring 200 points plus every single week. And it's going to take a good team to knock him off. But it was nice to see the Darlington Rams and who's the other ones again? The other
It's the Leeds
ones
Leopards.
that lost. The Leeds,
Leeds Leopards.
the Leeds Leopards, yeah. It was nice to see them both losing it and losing the O's. You know, when you've got three teams that are undefeated, and it could have been three teams 5-0. It's disheartening for the rest of the league, I would say, when you've got three teams that far ahead. So the fact that it's just Martin out there on his own, you know, big target on his back now, and we're all shooting at it 100%. But yeah,
We'll
good to
through your
have
game
those
now.
two teams now back it down there. I mean, for my game, big week for me. I rolled the dice with Algier. Didn't overly work, but everybody else done very well. And obviously, Chase was just huge. Shahid, hopefully I'll be
Chelsea
playing
finally
him
got
this week.
at some point.
Yeah, Kelsey finally showed up for me as well, and for all the Rams wide receivers, I can't believe it Tutu Atwell isn't the first being picked everywhere, because he will get the most of it. I rolled it. I went with Dowdle this week as well. I had to go with Dowdle this week. So I mean, I've done fine. The defender's done better for me this week too, and I've scored really well this week. And that's 2 weeks now. I've had my season's been I'm either absolutely knocking it out of the park and scoring fortunes, or I'm scoring absolute shite, and it's nothing in between. I've either been
Yeah, you've had
150
two team of the weeks and then 3 garbage.
you know.
The
So
2 times you've won, you've had the highest score. So yeah.
But I'm comfortable with what I've got. I don't hate my team. I still really like my team. I still think it's fine. And at 2 and 3, I'm not. I feel like I'm well and truly in it. Good win for Doug against Sam in his Darlington Rams. You know, it's just over 200 points. So 200 points is par. You know, so
I'm
it's
guessing
better
Sam
than
had
par
injuries because he
probably.
had Tyrone Tracy and Davis as his running backs.
Yeah, he would have. He had
Barkley and
Gibbs
Gibson
on
a
bye
bye.
week.
And
Yeah, both of
Barkley.
them on bye. So he's got
Shakir out.
this week out of the way. You know, he had Jameson Williams on the bye. He had Shakir out. He had Adams out. So it was a difficult week for Sam, and it was always going to be a difficult week for him. And for Doug, you know, that's him 3-2 now, and he's scoring 200 points week in, week out, which is going to win you more games than it loses you. So he must be kind of quietly confident of making playoffs at least, you know. But yeah, London and McLeod's a bit of a problem in there, but Wicks is going to have much better games, and I do believe that Doug's got some pieces on the bench as well that were either out or he's got Sam. Well, he's got Sam Darnold there on the bench.
He
He had
picked
Steve.
up Slayton, I remember that, but he didn't play him.
He stupidly listened to the chat about Stevenson being dropped. It was a ceremonial drop. He was straight in after the first play. Anyway, Slayton on the bench as well. You know,
Brown on the bench.
he's got St. Brown there. He's got plenty of options down there. He's got Tolbert there as
Yeah,
well.
he's looking
So
good.
yeah, I mean, he's 3-2, Doug, and sitting, I would say, relatively comfortably. You know, we have 2 4-1 teams in this division, and we have the 5-0, obviously, of Martin, who's flying.
So
And
Martin had
it's going to take a
Fields,
good team to
Williams.
knock him off, I've got to say, because the squad is absolutely solid.
Yeah. He'd Hunt on the bench.
What
He's got McConkey in the bye.
what I'm looking at Martin's team, and where I'm looking at where we get him, is he's got kind of some of the, you know, kind of Hubbard is going to lose his spot to Brooks when he comes back. You know, Fields is kind of, is he in, is he out, is Wilson going to get his shot at some point along the way? You know, I'm looking at these guys and thinking, I hope that's kind of the downfall come playoff time. Because Kieran Williams, you know, and Kamara, Higgins is going to get better as the season goes on. Hopefully, Addison's missing. I'm hoping Addison's missing. You know, that's kind of where I'm targeting Martin dropping these games, and I'm hoping these things happen at the back end of the season now.
Well, the way things are going, Etienne could lose the starting spot as well by the end of the season as well. So.
Yeah, well, if Bigsby keeps going the way he's been going, you know, and more importantly, Etienne keeps going the way he's going. I know that the score there's okay, but that's the scoring in this league, you know. It's that's the OrkneyBowl scoring in the sense of you do get a lot of points for doing things, you know. So I do think that Etienne could be a problem as the season goes on, if certainly if he doesn't start performing a lot
So there
better.
we go. So this week we've got the Hot Shot Hot Dogs hoping to get up with the Leopards are up against them, so they'll be hoping for a bounce back after the loss. You've got the new Barstow Mashers, 2 highest scoring teams last week with yourself.
Yeah,
That'll be a tough one. You've got the Preston Panthers 2-3 against the Chicago Scorpions 2-3. Doug's up against the Portsmouth Pirates, so 3-2 against 1-4. The Northwest Nazgûls are up against the Lee Vikings 3-2, so that could be a good one. And you've got the Darlington Rams, who other players back up against the unfortunately 0-5 are going to get the whiplash. I think you lose them last week. So,
yeah, and we could really do with Neil Knight's winning that one as well. We could do with Joe getting off the mark, but it's not looking likely, as you say. Sam's got his players back this week, and yeah, it's a tough old game for Joe. And if he goes 0-6, it's a long old way back.
Yeah,
and I could have done without running into the other high scorers in the league this week as well, because and I've said that already today, but the 2-3 and the 3-2 games, it is just such a massive game in the sense of if I win the game, we're both 3-3, and if I lose the game, I'm 2 games behind them, and there's going to be teams ahead of him. So it's a massive game for me this week. I'm looking at this as a kind of must win. This is my first one that I've really looked at this season and thought I really need to win this game. So big week for me. Big week.
They're the second highest scoring team in the league, the new Barstow Mashers, only behind the team at the top. They're pretty consistent. I think weeks 2 and 3 they did well, but weeks 1, 4, and 5 they did really well with the scoring. So
just hoping my guys score the same again. Big week for Portsmouth Pirates up against Doug. The 1-4 and the 3-2. The 1-4 really needs a win to kind of haul him in a little bit. So big week for him as well. Obviously, Martin looking to keep that O on the board. He wants to keep the O where it is.
Yeah. And I wonder if he's still listening as well.
Lee Vikings at 3-2 are going along well too. So it's there's a lot of big games down here as well. A lot of big games this week, but I would say the biggest one is Neil Knight's getting off the mark. We need Joe off the mark.
Yeah, I won't no talk to you because last week you wanted him to lose. To lose is unbeaten. Now you want him to lose, so Neil Knight gets their first win. He's not going to talk to you in the chat after this. I hope you don't play it. Well, I hope you don't play him in week 7, but no, I think you play Doug. Oh no, you play the Hot Shot Hot Dog. It's week 8. You play Doug. So yeah, I thought you'd be playing them. Oh, the Doug gets to play your new Barstow Masters after that. So
he gets the new Barstow Masters.
We'll move on to Division 3, the Mullhead. So that's a good game.
Division 4, Johnny. Division 4.
Oh, for God's sake, I missed one. Mullhead. No, Division 3, Mullhead. Where the hell's it gone?
Division 4. No, it's Mullhead is Division 4.
Yeah,
you're in the right one.
I thought you were in Division 2. It's been a long day.
So, yeah, I wish I was in Division 2. I hope I'm there next year.
Well, I'm hoping I'm there to play against you, but I'm not too sure. But you've got the Plymouth Argyle Browns going 2-3, 170.96 against 174.06. The Workshop Tough Rookies, so that was a close one for Arthur. The Laxdale Legends 210.69 against the Preston Hawks 203.17. Pez actually told me a complete muck up he did in that game. It's basically cost him, but we'll see that one in a minute. The Bedford Brewskis 187.69 against the Bucks Gold Rush 157.91. Kirkwall Chargers 269.18 beating the Bodom Bears 194.42. The high scoring Edinburgh Thunderbirds still scoring high 237.52 against Aberdeen Bucks. So they've lost their unbeaten record, so 198.79. The Rotherham Raiders 225.03. Remember last week they had a big game? They've done it again. Yeah. This time they come up against 238.79. Yorkshire lost Werther, so they must be raging. 2 games, 225, 232, and they've lost them both for the 2 losses in a row.
Must be the highest scorers in the league because they've won their other 3 games, so they must have scored well those games as well. That's pretty harsh, to run into about to score over 220 points 1 week and lose. Fair enough, you wipe it off. It's right, okay, I've lost, but I've scored a lot of points. To do it 2 weeks in a row, that's just downright freaking cheeky, man. And see if you do it 3 weeks in a row, you must have been Adolf Hitler in a past life because you're getting punished now.
Yeah, because what was it last week? It was there, and the week before it was, what did he score? 236 the week before against 243, 225 against 238. It's just like that is just so unlucky.
Yeah, shit happens,
Well, like
But
they're a high scoring team, so it's going to.
Yeah,
make up for
the
it.
wins are going to come, and it's a great win for Yorkshire Los Muertos as well. To beat 225 points, to come up against 225 points and still win. That must make you feel good.
I know. Yeah, well, basically everybody. You had Lawrence, Etienne, Cook, Higgins, Olabi did nothing. Metcalf fumbled, which probably would have been so one if that cost him the game. Brock Bowers turning up had a good one.
Is a worry.
And Gibson. His defence has scored nearly 40 points between the two of them. Oh no, there you go. Yeah, 40 points. He got 16 points of his kick up, and then so did Fairbairn. So where did Raiders come unlucky then? So 13 points.
It's Tyreek Hill, the Tyreek Hill problem.
Well, he's now lost Pittman as well, which is not a good one.
If Tyreek Hill scores what he normally scores, he wins. That he wins the game there. So it's a Tyreek Hill problem, I would say. And the question is that have you got the balls to drop Tyreek Hill? I mean, you've drafted him in the first round. Can you drop your first round pick when he's on the field? I'm not sure you can.
No, but they do try and get on the ball, but it just doesn't work.
The only 2 4-1 teams were playing each other this week, and obviously Edinburgh Thunderbirds going from 3-1 to 4-1, and Aberdeen Bucks getting their first loss. So big win for Gary and his Edinburgh Thunderbirds. It has to be said, Jackson doing Jackson things, and
they've lost Nico.
He's lost Nico. That's one that's got to be replaced, obviously. But yeah, Worthy's going to get plenty of touches, and it's nice to see Kelsey back and doing something this week. I'm hoping that's his season going to start in earnest now as well. Although, they've not really done anything in their 5-0 Kansas City, and that worries me. That really does worry me because I think Kelsey's now at the age where they'll unleash him when they have to.
Yeah. So this is a game here. Obviously, Pez lost Derek Carr, but he didn't realise that Singletary wasn't playing. He did take out Singletary.
And who's on his bench? Who's on the bench?
Jalen Wright or Eckler or Akers.
You would have played it. You would have played Eckler or Akers, wouldn't you? You might have played Sutton, but you have to think you would have played Eckler or Akers. So that's 14 and 15, and that's more than enough to win the game. You got what you deserve, Pez.
He was a bit raging on Monday.
You make rookie mistakes, you get rookie results. You know what I mean?
The worst thing was,
I don't know what else to say.
Being a Seattle fan, you would have been watching the game, so you would have seen that he was out.
What could you say?
The Giants
Blackstone Legends will be over the moon, though. And it's a great, if Blackstone Legends gets into playoffs by 1-1, it's there. If Pez loses out by 1, then it's there. That's that. That's the week. So yeah, big week for Blackstone Legends.
Definitely gets up to 2 and 3. So where we got? So the Thunderbirds and the Bucks are 4-1. You got 3 teams at 3-2. Then we got 1 and 4. Ruby.
I mean, I think we've maybe seen 2 or 3 teams at 0-5, and we've maybe seen 2 or 3 teams at 5-0, and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's after just 5 weeks. So that's crazy. It's crazy close. Everything is crazy close, and it just goes to show you how as I say, how volatile fantasy football can be, and you're never out of it. You're never, and no matter how you look at your team and you think that's rotten, that's terrible, it can turn up. Some weeks it's going to turn up and it's going to win you games. It's crazy.
This is fun though, because obviously we've got Arthur against Pez, so there could be quite a bit of insults going about in the group chat this week.
Both 2-3 as well, Johnny. They're both 2-3, so that's a massive game. The winners 3-3, the losers 2-4. I mean, that's huge.
Especially with Pez taking digs at Arthur and the Pez and Pork show on Monday. There should be an interesting one this week. They're just taking the piss because he's a Browns fan. Then obviously 2-3 against 2-3 again. 2-3 against 2-3 again. Oh, they go. Poor Gary's up against the Edinburgh Thunderbirds, so he's going to be 1-5.
That's a bye week.
The Northern Raiders, another high-scoring team up against the Chargers. They've been scoring pretty high as well. Then you got Bucks against the
it's a big one there. The Rotherham Raiders. The Rotherham Raiders deserve. If any team deserves a win this week, it's Rotherham Raiders. It has to be said.
Yeah, but their bench didn't look great, and obviously they've lost Pittman, so it's going to be a tough one to get another high scorer. But the Chargers are a high scoring team. The Aberdeen Bucks up against last week's high scoring Yorkshire Lost and Wertels, so they could go 4-2 apiece as well.
Yeah,
Yorkshire pulls that one off, but
two big games at the bottom there as well. Two massive games, in the sense of it's all four teams are winning records, and two of them have got to lose this week, and
yeah, there you go. He's out. He's not changed his team yet, but obviously Pittman's out.
Yeah, he's lost Pittman, so he's definitely going to need to move out Pittman. But he's got options here on the bench, so there's
not a lot.
Nothing to worry about.
He's got Curtis Samuel
or
Reynolds.
He's not done. Yeah, he's got Reynolds. He's got Samuel there. Players that can be played. Players that can be played.
He's got Goff on the bench, but then he's got Burrow starting. So he's not going to play Goff over Burrow. So
you know what will happen? Though, he'll get 160 points this week and win the game. It's just how it goes.
Well, yeah, but that could easily happen in this league. Anything can happen, but no. So that's all the divisions.
There we go, Johnny. Week 5 in the bag. Into week 6. We've already started week 6. I hope everyone who... Oh, no, it starts tonight, sorry. So remember, go and check your teams. If you've got any 49ers or Seattle Seahawks that kicking around that you want to start or want to drop, do it now.
Away. Yeah, I'll be watching it anyway. So yeah, but
I'm going to do my best.
We did have 5 watch on point. We're down to 2, but I think Martin's listening on the radio, so I hope he's enjoying it. We weren't too bad with his team, so we're actually quite nice to him. So we'll see you all next week. Probably be back to Tuesday next week. Although we did get a few more viewers on tonight, but good luck everybody this week, apart from Doug.
Good luck everyone apart from Doug.
So we'll catch you later.